This is part 4 of What's It Like Living in Philadelphia, where we take to the streets interviewing hundreds of individuals from Philadelphia talking about life in various parts. This episode promises to be quite powerful as usual. And not only that, we have a bonus episode for you at the end of this because a young man by the name of B. Dot was recently gunned down and killed right at the corner of True and Shelton in Germantown, Philadelphia. We interviewed him on part 1 of the series, I think towards the end of part 1 of this series, Living in Philadelphia. And we went back out there, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, and noticed that his picture was hanging on the wall of the shop where he usually hangs out. And people were writing on the placard, and we realized that he had been murdered. Days after he did the interview, he was shot and killed. And we broadcast live from the scene, and we also interviewed some loved ones. So this is a powerful episode. That's what's coming up next on the Neoliberal Around podcast. I do a podcast. I'm from this school. I'm a graduate of and I'm doing my doctorate now. But I do a podcast, and this is the 4th series. I haven't gotten anybody up this side. I went to Westmount area, City Ave, but no one on this area. So I'm going around. Are you guys students or something?
I'm from North Philly. I'm not a student here.
Oh, what's it like? What's it like living in Philly?
I like it.
You do? And you?
I hate some parts, and I love some other parts.
Which parts you hate?
A lot of them.
But you have fun and you enjoy it.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what about you? Do you love Philly?
Yeah, I'm also from North Philly, but I go here.
Here is where?
Penn.
University of Penn, my alma mater. I graduated with 2 masters here, and I'm doing my doctorate now.
Wow.
But what do you think about the experience here?
I like it so far.
Yes.
I'm a first year, so I'm new to everything.
First year student, what's it like? Ivy League and so on, what's it like? What's the experience?
It's nice. There's a lot of resources.
Lots of resources.
Yeah.
And what do you plan to, how are you making, what difference do you want to make in society? And especially in your city?
I don't know how to explain it very well, but I don't know.
But you love it in Philly?
Yeah, I do love it in Philly.
Okay, and what's the one big thing you like the best or the most?
I don't know.
Not everything. You like everything about Philly?
Yeah.
I feel like it feels like New York, except it has like a small town feel.
Yes,
so it's
yes,
not as overwhelming as New York is.
Yeah.
I also used to live in Kensington, so I used to see some bad parts. I still love Philly. So.
Oh, good. Well, thank you so much. You're the person I would really want to talk to some more because you've seen so many different parts here. Perfect. Welcome back to the Neoliberal Around podcast, and I'm right here in Germantown, and speaking with an amazing lady who just moved with her dog. What's the name of your dog?
My dog's name is Jojo.
Jojo, what's up? Oh, look at Jojo. He's smelling the phone, saying hi to everyone. And now you've been living. How long have you been living in Germantown or in Philadelphia?
I've lived in the Philly area for 3 years, but
Okay.
just recently moved into the city of Philadelphia.
From where?
Bala Kenwood.
It's okay when you compare, and you're a great person to talk to because you've lived here for 3 years,
You just moved down to this side. When you compare the Germantown area with Ballackinwood, what's the difference?
It's a big difference. A whole different energy. A lot of differences.
And you were saying to me earlier, no, I really don't want to say what I think what I think about Philly, but because Philly is becoming. I mean, why is it that you were saying? I really don't want to say it, but you're going to say it anyways. Because we want to hear the perspective.
Well, I'm not from the East Coast at all.
Okay.
And it is a culture shift for me.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things are different. The way it looks, the way it feels, the way people interact. And it does take a while I'm open-minded to it, but it does feel different. So it doesn't always feel like home.
Wow. And Philadelphia is known as the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Mm-hmm. And you said the people are changing and so on. And so do you feel that brotherly love and sisterly affection?
I haven't had any bad, take that back. For the most part, people have been kind and nice.
Yes.
I haven't had the stereotypical East Coast rudeness that you hear about. I haven't had that. Yeah. People have, for the most part, like I said, been kind, but I'm also from the South. Okay. So it is different, and it's just different. Not better, not worse. Different.
Yes. And what can people like you do to bring about the change, bring about positive change? By the way, you live in the area and you hear of the gun violence and the carjacking and so on, and we're all affected by that in the neighborhood.
Right, and I think in the country things are changing. So I wouldn't say it's just Philly. It's in major cities, probably smaller cities in the nation. Yeah. I'm not sure what to do to make the changes exactly. I think things like knowing your neighbors help.
Yes.
And also knowing the facts. Like, is it that...
Excuse me. Sorry, is that a Labradoodle?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
We're doing an interview, but how are you doing?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That is so fine. That's fine.
I'm trying to make my...
Very beautiful dog. But yes, you were saying, so we live in the country.
No.
And sorry. It's whatever
know the facts, know the resources around you, get to know your neighbors. I think be involved. I'm not super involved in the city as I just moved here.
Yes.
But I do think things like knowing what's going on around you helps. So you don't feel scared. You're aware of your surroundings and you really understand what's going on.
Are you going to be voting in this election?
Yes.
Oh, great. So do you think that the upcoming midterm election, the elections, do you think that can do any kind of, that can bring about any change or any difference? Because we're told get involved in elections, and maybe if you vote for the right person, they will implement policies that will bring about change or do the things what we need to get done.
As a newer resident of Philly, I'm not as aware of what's going on, as far as historically and how changes have happened. I do think it's worth trying, right? Like, why not vote for what you believe in and who you believe in that can make those changes?
Yes.
We know that politics are politics.
Yeah.
And even with the best intentions, not all politicians can make the changes they want. But I do think it is worth a try.
Yeah.
To do your part.
This is good. And what's your name? What do they call you? What do you go by?
I go by TJ.
TJ! Well, thank you so much for that. And what do you do, TJ?
I work in health and wellness.
Okay, nice. So it's quite interesting that you would respond the way you did. And I really appreciate you coming on the show and talking about what's it like living in Philly, comparing it with other parts of the country, and so on and so forth. But I hope you have a great day and take care.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Neil Live Around podcast. I'm actually right here by Wingstop. What area are we in Philly? Do you know?
So we're like North Central here.
North Central. And you guys, how long have you been living? I see two beautiful couple here. How long have you guys been living in Philly?
2 months?
Yeah, like 2 months now.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, You guys are the best person to talk to. Now, okay, what is your impression so far? And where are you coming from first?
So, I'm coming from West Virginia.
West Virginia and?
Michigan.
Wow, Michigan, West Virginia.
Yeah, so
and you moved and you've been here for 2 months. What is your impression so far?
It's definitely different.
How
it's
different?
Really interesting. I mean, we both come from pretty rural areas. very country. So moving to a big city like this has definitely been a change of pace.
Yes.
But I mean, we've liked it so far.
That is good. And for
it's
you?
never boring.
Yeah, the people are nice. Our neighbors are great.
That is good. And what part of the city you live in?
We live in like the north central area, right off Broad Street.
Right. Okay. I know that area very well. I used not far from Temple area, Temple University.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
right
good.
there
I used to
on
live near.
Allegheny.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And when you compare the difference between, I know you said it's rural and so on. So I should not talk about when you look at the violence gripping the city, gripping. I mean, are you concerned about that?
No.
No, not really.
I'm
I
Right.
mean,
We have not faced
Anything like that. Oh wow.
it's been good.
We
Yes.
moved to a spot where people thought there would be a lot of crime, and there's not. We
Yes.
didn't run into any of that. I
Wow.
think my biggest issue is the litter.
Oh yes,
There's
yes.
a lot
Trash.
of litter.
Yes. And can I tell you a philosophy about? So I'm from Jamaica, but I've been living here in Philadelphia for about 9 years, but in the US for 12.
Right.
And one of the things I remember one day, I was in my car, and I was about to. Somebody wanted to throw trash outside, and I said, "I'll put it in a bag." And one of the young men said, "Throw that outside, yo. Throw that outside. Let people clean it up because how are they gonna get jobs?"
Yeah. No, that's.
So it depends
Yeah.
on people's mentality. So people who are probably less economically stable might think about it another way. They say, "Oh, throw it out so that my homeboys can get jobs." While those who are more economically stable say, "No, keep it clean, and then we could spend money on other things probably."
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just you have that in any of the cities here. People think that it's dangerous or something.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot of drugs or something, but I think that's part of it just being a major city.
Right,
You go,
right. Yes.
I'm from the middle of nowhere, West
Yes.
Virginia, and there's still drugs. There's still,
Yes,
there's
yeah,
just less people. If
Well, and
there
by
were 60,000 people living there, then it would be the same thing.
Yes.
So
And Biden actually just changed policy on marijuana.
Yeah,
And I
just
actually,
with the pardons.
yes, he just did that and make it and pardon and several pardons or hundreds of people I guess will be released. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's a good
great.
idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only federal.
Yes.
sentences, but I guess
There's
they're pushing
still
for
gonna
the
be
state.
Right. Oh.
State sentences.
So it's just
Yeah.
from the federal, okay?
Yeah.
And the
It's-
culture is changing, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Michigan, it's completely legal. And
Oh.
That was a change moving here.
I love
So,
Michigan.
yeah.
I love Michigan, man.
Yeah.
And welcome to Philadelphia.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank
I
you.
hope you continue to enjoy it, and I wish you guys all the best.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, this is the Neoliberal Round. It's an amazing couple, and they are enjoying Philadelphia and what it has to offer, irrespective of the violence and so on. They are rising above that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take care. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, you take care, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome back to the Neoliberal Round podcast. And I'm right here in Germantown, back in Germantown. Of course, I live in Germantown, Philadelphia. Thank you so much. And we have two amazing young ladies here who I will be interviewing, talking about what's it like living in Philadelphia. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
And what do you go by?
Everybody calls me Fe.
Fee?
Yeah.
Okay, now, what's it like living in Philadelphia? Are you from Philadelphia?
I am born and raised here.
Okay.
It's like Gotham City without Batman. It's like I mean Gotham City without Batman, but we
Yeah.
got cheesesteaks. So
Yes.
It's not that bad.
Okay. If anything needs to change, what's the biggest thing now that needs to be changed?
The biggest thing that needs to change is probably, and I know it's probably a cliche answer, but it will definitely have to be the violence.
Oh, wow.
It
Wow,
would
yeah.
be a good city if it wasn't like so many deaths.
Yeah.
I love my city. I love it. I would stay here if I could, but I got a baby and like
Yeah.
I don't want.
But you said if I could. I mean, you want to move from Philly?
I mean, as I can't afford to right now. That's the thing
Yeah.
about Philly. Like once you here, it's like death row. Like you
Wow.
you can't afford to leave.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't know.
And which part of Philly are you originally from?
I don't like this question. All right. Technically, I'm from South Philly.
Okay. Oh,
They set
great.
people up, so I don't like to claim them.
Well, this is good though because I want to. I haven't gone to South Philly yet.
No.
And we plan to do that, but we've been in North Philly, Germantown, East Falls, West Mount Airy, so on and so forth.
Wow, with no bulletproof vest. You are brave.
Yes.
No machete or nothing.
No
I know you're
machete.
Jamaican.
I am Jamaican, yeah, man. But
Yeah, man.
let me ask you a question, though.
Okay.
What is South Philly like compared to, you are now in Germantown,
Right.
compared to, and how long have you been in Germantown?
On and off for like about 2 years, but I mainly reside in North.
Which one you prefer? Oh, so you know,
North.
oh,
I
you're
prefer
familiar with,
North. I
you
love
prefer North.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I actually
over
do. Maybe I'm just a
over
hillbilly,
South
but
and over Germantown.
as far as what?
As far as the place to live, safety.
Oh, probably South Philly.
Okay, all right. So you still like
Right.
South
I feel like
Philly.
is safer areas in each
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
really go by that. But
Yes.
if I had to live somewhere and I'm like, I know I ain't gonna get shot here.
Yes.
It would be probably like around South Philly.
What's causing the violence? What's causing all of this violence? You think?
I don't know. I ain't violent. I don't know. I do feel like it has a lot to do with
Easy
young.
access to getting guns.
I don't think that's the case.
I feel like it's very
I really
easy
don't.
to get guns out here. I can literally go to a corner in North Philly, see somebody, ask them where could I get a gun, and I can get a gun. Like it's and then it's high temper as well. Everyone has a temper or
Yeah.
an attitude.
Right. I was just about to get at that.
Everybody
But I
is
think-
upset. I don't know. It's something in the water. Or something.
Yes,
But
yes.
people said the
No
exact
idea.
same thing about New York, though. What I personally think it is, I think social media
Yeah.
plays a big part in it, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Because when people say, "Oh, back in the '70s, you know, you get into a fight with somebody, win or lose, like whatever, you get to live another
Yes.
day." I think I just quoted Friday, but that's very real.
Yeah.
But I think back in that day, it wasn't social media. Somebody can't like. You can knock me out, but best believe somebody got that me.
Mm-hmm.
So now he feels some type of way. It's like, yeah, I gotta get my lick back. Everybody's hell bent on getting their lick back,
Right.
and coupled with everybody knows a person with a gun. I got one. Mine legal, by the way. I don't post mine. But it's like coupled with being in a rough neighborhood where it's easier to access it. I feel like it's a couple of things. It's not just because guns are easy.
Yeah.
I
Right,
think it
right,
has
right.
a lot to do with pride. I think we're very prideful
Yeah.
people in tempers, and it's just easy to disrespect somebody. People look at everything as disrespect because social media tells you, oh, that's a sign of disrespect if somebody do that. Oh, you like.
Wow.
Even he said that, like, yo,
Yeah.
shoot up everything except a school or playground.
And the guy and the boys they're listening to this.
I don't think they listen to it.
They're not listening to it. Maybe
I don't think they.
So repeat what he said again. Birdman, he said shoot up everything, not the playground.
Yeah.
Shoot up everything except a school or a playground.
And Birdman will be on the show. I will be interviewing. Thank you guys so much.
No problem.
This is gonna have to be a standalone podcast for itself.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, this is the Nearly Born Around podcast, and we have on the show today featuring
Sasha, hey.
and
Big feet.
now if people want to get a hold of you guys, how can they reach out to you guys?
My Instagram. Oh, bear with me because
Yes.
as young as I am, I don't remember what my name is on
I don't remember
Instagram.
my Instagram.
So my name is Ariola _ Grande 69.
All right. Okay. Great. Yes. Ariola.
_ Grande 69. That's
All
on Instagram.
right. On Instagram.
Ariola Grande. Like,
and
I'm
how?
very silly.
Okay. ARIEL.
AREOLA.
Okay.
Ariola.
And okay.
I
Good.
feel so
Good.
stupid
Then
doing
that's
this.
fine. And you?
And if you want to reach me, my name on Instagram is Whimsy's House. That's WIMZIES_ house. Yes, just like the show. I do love it. I love
All
it.
right.
And she's also an author. I don't know why she's not.
Oh
saying
yeah,
that.
I did write a couple of books, I ain't gonna try to take the shine off of Philly, but you know what? That's another thing. Philly it's so much to offer.
So many talented.
It's
Yes.
so much. Like it's bad. I know this is about
Singers.
bad, but we're doing so good. We're moving in the right direction. Even when I seen a little clip of the BET Awards, and they were showing, all the innocent people who died. It's a push forward in the right direction. I feel like the new generation is taking over the old generation who was like
Believe it or not, we
doing
want
all
change.
that. But yeah, we want to change. We want change. We're raised. I
need
know a
everybody
lot
on
of
board.
I
Yeah.
know a lot of good
It's bad apples
families and a lot of good parents and a lot
Yes.
of good mentors. I have numerous brothers I have a lot of friends. We have a lot of together. We know a lot of good people. So I know this generation, we're going to push that change. That
yes, we are. And you're an author. Tell me one of the books that you wrote.
Bird Trap.
One of them is Bird Trap by Sasha Harvey. That's my real name, Sasha Harvey. And the other one is Pressed. And they are doing good. They're everywhere. I mean, Barnes & Noble, Book & Noble. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it at Walmart.
Okay, don't say anymore because we are going to also have her on. We're going to do a one-on-one interview because this particular. Wow. I'm telling you, this
what
is.
Would make him even.
But this is quite interesting. As you go around interviewing people, you get a sense of people have a sense of what is wrong with their community. And I said to people, and I said to you earlier, if you want to bring about change in community, it can't be a top-down approach. It has to be a bottom-up, or it has to be in the middle out, or communities. But communities, they're not talking, and they're not talking to each other. They're talking over each other. And people now in the 21st century, they don't know how to engage and to facilitate discussion. And people are suspicious now. We're suspicious about the other. They're just suspicion that people have, But speaking with those two young women, it was so refreshing, man.
Well, you know what
it was powerful. Around podcast. I'm at the corner of Chew and Shelton Avenue, and we are at the Yahweh's convenience store, and it's a store right at the corner which I've seen quite a lot of violence recently. And just recently a young man was killed, and this particular gentleman was killed recently. And when things like this happen, they usually put pictures on here to show that, and to show just to let the community know of the person. But he usually frequents this particular store, and he's usually here on the corner right here on the store. And there's a young man. And the reason why this podcast is very powerful, we are doing a podcast series, What's It Like Living in Philadelphia? And we have completed 3 series so far. And the part two of What's It Like Living in Philly? I came to this store, went inside the store, and he was right in the back, and in the back in the corner. And I went up to him and I said, "Hey, how are you?" And he said, "Oh, I haven't seen you in a while." And I said, "Hey, I am doing a podcast on what's it like living in Philly. Would you like to comment?" And he's like, "Sure." And I interviewed him, and he spoke for about 4 or 5 minutes. And it's right at the end of part 2 of What's It Like Living in Philadelphia. So, I just drove up, and I heard recently that a young man was killed, I think 2 days ago. Was it a day ago?
Yes, 2 days ago.
Was it a day ago this guy was killed?
I think like 2 days.
2 days ago? And a day ago, this particular young man was killed.
Okay.
I mean, I heard that somebody was killed, but I don't know who it was. And I drove up just now to buy something from the store right at the corner here, and I saw the picture of this guy, and I said, "Wait, is this the guy that they said just recently got killed?" This young man, I just literally interviewed him last weekend. Last weekend, I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, can I have a comment?" And I just literally interviewed him, and he's on the show. He's on the podcast. He's on the podcast right now. If you go to part 3 or part 2 of What's It Like Living in of the Neoliberal Realm podcast, the podcast is entitled What's It Like Living in Philly, you'll hear him speaking towards the end. And I asked him, "What's it like living in Philly?" And he said, "It's dangerous out here, but you have to watch the people you hang with." He said on the podcast, he said, watch the people you hang with, and you can listen to it for yourself. And we're gonna play it again in a few minutes.
Here is the interview we did on September 29th, 2022 with B. Dot at the Yahweh's convenience store at the corner of True and Shelton in Germantown. B. Dot has been killed, and we have the interview with him that we did days before the murder. Here is the interview. Here is B. Dot.
Welcome back to the Neoliberal Around podcast. I'm still in Germantown, right at the corner of Shelton. And guess what? You know we've been doing What's It Like Living in Philly, and I got two young men here. You guys from Philly?
Yeah, I'm from Philly. You are born and raised. You already know.
Yeah. Now, tell me, what's it like living in Philly?
Man, living in Philly, it's fun. It have its pros and its cons. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a dog eat dog world.
Yeah.
You gotta just be on point. Do what you gotta do and mind your.
Yes,
for real though. But it's from the city. I love the city. I'm from here. I'm born and raised. You know what I'm saying? And I rock with it. You know? I'm heavy on this city, you feel me?
Definitely.
I'm heavy. What's right there, son? I'm heavy on this city, you feel me? Like, I love this city, you feel me? You got good food, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's places you can't go, places you can go, you feel me? But you at there, bro, it's mind your business, yo, you be alright, though.
Right.
And I ain't gonna lie, I feel like they always support each other for it. You just gotta, like, really, like, show people you really don't you doing, you gonna support you.
Right.
You gotta show that. Once you show it, then, like, everybody gonna support you back.
Right.
That's all it really about, for real, though. But the bitches, I love the females here, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm from uptown, so you know how we carry. We different. We stay fresh, stay clean, you feel me? Get money, stay out the way, you feel me?
All right.
That's all, man.
Thank you so much for participating on the podcast, and we're gonna hear it.
Podcast trailer. Excerpt of What's It Like Living in Philadelphia, Part 4.
You know this guy as well? Oh, this is your daughter? Yeah, I'm going to do a little podcast. Let me tell you, somebody told me, I'm going to cry right now. Somebody told me that somebody got killed by her. I didn't know who it was. I just drove up to buy something and I saw his picture. I'm like, wait, I know this guy. Let me tell you something how this is powerful. I do a podcast, and the latest podcast is called What's It Like Living in Philly. I came in here looking for people to interview. He was at the back last week, and he said, and I said to him, would you like to come on the podcast? And he said, sure. And I interviewed him for my podcast. He's on the podcast. This guy, yes. He spoke for 4 minutes, and I said to him, "What's it like living in Philly?" on the podcast. I said, I'm doing a documentary series on what's it like living in Philly on my podcast. Would you like to come? He said, sure. And he got up and he talked passionately. And he said, I like it in Philly. It's okay. It's very dangerous. And he said, you have to be safe. You have to know who the people you hang with. You have to know. And in fact, it's available on the podcast now. And it's called the Neoliberal Around podcast.
What is it?
The Neoliberal Around podcast. I'll just give you the information in a second. But it's an emotional moment for me. I live in Germantown as well. I live in Germantown, and you hear of, and in Philadelphia, you're constantly hearing of the young men being gunned down and black on black violence and issue of safety, and it's daunting to see what's going on. But it's just quite interesting that he just spoke on the show. Right. What's it like? And he talked about violence. And he even suggested how you can be safe, and just to see that this young man, very young man. Yeah. Yes. What do you say? What's it like living in Philly?
For me?
Yeah.
For a woman, it's scary. When you hear about all the things that's happening around you. And I'm raising a man. My son. This is my son's best friend.
It's your son's best friend.
My son's best friend.
Oh, wow.
My son is in college.
Yes.
Last year in college.
Yeah.
But it's not easy hearing that this is like the fourth friend.
Yeah.
Of my son.
The fourth friend? Yeah. How old is your friend? Your
my son is 22.
You're oh wow.
This is number 4.
And how did he feel? How was he dealing with it?
Not well.
Angry, frustrated, sad. It's a lot to deal with. It's a
a lot to take in. And it's like things happen all over the world, but when you like, you're like living in a city where it's happening around you every day, all day, how do you deal with that?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that mentally? How do you go on and go to work? You just gotta pray. You gotta really kill.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
That is true. I am here right at the corner of Shelton and Chew, and I happened to come upon this particular. I usually come to this store sometimes, and actually, about 2 months ago, I was right at this section right here, right across the street, right at that particular. I was right at that particular shop or, and I was about to get out the car, and right here there was shooting, and I was right there. And you know, this particular area is quite telling in Philadelphia. Quite telling. It's quite sad to see what's going on in Philadelphia and so on. But as I say to you, I just interviewed this guy for our podcast series, and he spoke so passionately about what's going on in Philadelphia. And if you haven't heard that podcast, it's episode 3. I mean, sorry, it's not episode 3. It's season 4, but it's part of the series Living in Philly Part 3. This is the Neoliberal Run podcast, coming to you live from Germantown, and we're right at the corner of True and Shelton, and we are and we just saw a law enforcement officer just came into the store, and they usually are parked right here. The officers are usually parked right here or across the street, and the guy was gunned down right here, right at this spot. There's been several killings. In fact, some time ago I talked about these 2 gentlemen who were shot and killed on the show, talking about violence. It's quite sad. Saddens me. This is the Neoliberal Run podcast. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. So we have a poll, and we have a poll question that's going on the Spotify platform, but it's going to be available on our social media feeds, LinkedIn, Twitter, probably, I'm not sure, but definitely Twitter, maybe Facebook. But we asked the question, what's causing the violence? And you know, we had a group discussion with Big Fe and Sasha Harvey, the author. And yes, and it was the way in which that particular discussion went was beautiful, because we were able to. From that discussion, I came up with a poll: what's causing the violence? A, is it easy access to guns? Sasha believes that it's easy access to guns, but Big Fe disagrees. She believes it's social media. So the second option is, do you believe it's do you believe it's social media or digital technology and gaming? The third option is, do you believe it's because they alluded to that lack of fathers? Lack of fathers. They didn't really allude to that. But they did allude to lack of men, responsible men. But there was a gentleman by the name of Maurice who we interviewed in part 2 of the show, of the series of Living in Philly, who said that it was, we need a father's movement. So option 3 is it because of a lack of fathers or effective parenting or mentors? They alluded to that. Or D, is it due to an inability to control temper or a lack of self-control? They alluded to that earlier. Okay, so you can participate in that poll. We have that poll will go on for about a week. You can go on Spotify and provide a response. We will have one going on our LinkedIn page, Ronaldo McKenzie, or the Neoliberal Corporation's LinkedIn page. We will also have the poll going on, and we're going to try and put it on Twitter for you, and and any other places that we can. But participate. We're going to also have it on RenaldoCMcKenzie.com and theneoliberal.com. Of course, coming up next on the Neoliberal Round podcast, next episode coming up. We have a lot of exciting shows. We have a lot of exciting shows. And actually, if you go to the neoliberal.com, we have a recent blog where we talk about what's coming up next on our feeds and websites and so on and so forth. We have this amazing article, and it's entitled Relative Deprivation. And it's relative deprivation, and I won't say anything else. Just relative deprivation. I'm just gonna leave it there. We have that public coming up. We have an article and a podcast on relative deprivation, a way to understand the violence that's gripping society. And we also have news commentary on Biden and OPEC, as it relates to Biden overhauling marijuana, the U.S. marijuana policy, and of course OPEC planning on slashing oil output by 2 million barrels a day, and we believe that's very suspicious and it's very strategic. We believe right just before the U.S. midterm election that is happening. Of course we know the love affair between President Putin and Mr. Donald Trump and so on and so forth, but that's telling we're going to be discussing, we're going to be providing commentary on that. And of course, on Saturday, we have this big event with T.L. Jackson, a day of community enlightenment, and that's presented by author T.L. Jackson, who wrote the book I'm Not Hypocrite, I'm Human. And this particular event is at 1010 Washington Lane or Washington Avenue. And Dr. Umar Johnson is one of the featured guest speakers. I may be sharing just briefly at the event, but I'm going to be there interviewing and getting comments from everyone there. And I hope that I get an opportunity. I hope you will be there, and I will get an opportunity to interview you for the show. Thank you for listening to the Neoliberal Round podcast. Subscribe for free at https:// anchor.fm/the and donate to us at anchor.fm/the and please send us a feedback and visit us at theneoliberal.com and access any of our services, website design, podcasting, paper editing and writing services. Just explore and peruse what we have to offer and much more right at theneoliberal.com and RenaldoCMcKenzie.com. Take care as we serve the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges through our communication, which is to make popular what was the monopoly.